thank you for being here and praying. I see Linda on the screen there. Linda was with me both at Eastside and now at Central. So yeah, welcome, Linda. Yeah, look, I've been in ministry 30-something years now, and I'm at Central Baptist at the moment. So Central is a larger sort of inner city church, and yeah, large children's ministry and large youth ministry. So really exciting to see. I head up an sort of collective called Churches Together, which is a group of about 20 sort of plus churches mainly within Invercargill, which and a common it represents about 14 different denominations, with a real heart for unity, for prayer, and for serving our city. So I have headed that up. One of the exciting things that's happened just in the last year or so is to see the Catholic church priests join us, and that's been really exciting. There's a new Father Jared is the new priest at the Basilica, and he's got a real ecumenical heart and has joined in, and they're joining in for the first time the soaking the city in prayer, which I'll talk about in a bit. Look, I can't really speak too much for Otago. They're our big neighbours to the north. There's a lot of rivalry between Otago and Southland. If you look at its history, at one stage Otago took over the province of Southland when we went broke back in the 1880s. But yeah, I'm pretty familiar with the church scene in Invercargill. The biggest change over the 30 years is the traditional churches are in significant decline. So there used to be about 8 or 9 Prezi churches, very strong Prezi stronghold down here in Invercargill. 30 years ago, all those churches had full-time pastors. Now there's one full-time pastor left. There's still 8 churches, but they could probably fit into 2 buildings. Anglican churches also has no full-time paid priests. So traditional churches are really struggling. A lot of migrants have come into Invercargill. We're part of the refugee settlement program. It's been a big change over the last 10 or so years. Some of them have come through the free fees, SITs, so that's brought a lot of different nationalities. But also we have accepted or been a settlement centre for Colombian refugees and currently Congolese. And most of the Congolese refugees that are coming are Christians and have joined different churches. Seventh-day Adventist, a contingent have joined Eastside Baptist, and now Eastside Baptist, where I used to plant, is probably 50% Congolese. So yeah, it's been an interesting addition to the church scene here. When I went to the Catholic Church recently, it was 3/4 non-European, predominantly Filipino and African. So it was quite interesting, and it was packed. Probably the biggest service in town, 400 plus at the Basilica. We have mayoral elections this year, and our council has been a fraught place, lots of dissension within that. So we are going to be, and the current mayor is stepping down, so we've got mayoral elections. There's some really cool combined youth stuff happening in town, and we at Central are currently there are 4 young people looking at being baptised in the next month or so, which is really, really significant because we've invested a lot in that space. But there's just there doesn't seem a real hunger among young people. Currently, there's a group of young people meeting before our church service to study the Bible. So at 9 o'clock, when I'm trying to prepare and pray, there's a whole lot of racket outside my office because young people are there studying the Bible. So that's pretty exciting to see. We're just started a season called Soaking the City in Prayer. So 22 churches, 14 denominations. They take a week each to intensively pray for the city. So that was launched at First Church recently with a combined service, which was actually just an amazing time of worship. So I think we're in about week 3 of that. So churches plan and do some really creative things around prayer for the city. There's a devotional booklet being put together. 7 of the pastors have written a devotional based on the Lord's Prayer, and that's what we use as a guide. So we're really focused and praying for the well-being of our city. I know that our food banks, probably like much of the country, are really struggling. Same with Jubilee Finance, which is the budgeting service. It's the only budgeting service in town, or the only government-funded one, I think. And they've had their funding cut. They're a Christian-based outfit. They are also struggling for resources. The one initiative I do know about Otago is, and it's the Baptist, Otago Southland Baptist Association have sponsored a church planter who was at Eastside, pastor there, and he's been sponsored to go to Central Otago to plant micro churches. So this is the second year. This is starting churches from absolutely scratch, meeting in homes because Central Otago is so expensive. So he's based in Luggett, looking at planting in Cromwell, Queenstown, possibly Luggett as well. So just small house churches. So Derek Coates is his name. That's, as I say, in its second year. He also helps pastor the Wanaka Baptist fellowship there. Not been easy. And so, he would really appreciate prayer. We're just starting to see a little bit of momentum with some groups starting in Cromwell now. But really appreciate prayers. Sort of working on quite a different model from maybe a traditional church. Very much focused on discipleship, on reaching new people. They recently had their first baptism. They have got a meeting. There's a meeting happening in a cafe in Queenstown. There's another one meeting in a pizza place, I think, in Wanaka. So very much outward focused, discipleship focused, but not easy in that context of Central Otago. So there's some things to get stuck into in terms of prayer. Obviously, our desire is to see. To see churches flourishing and to see new growth. Like much of the country, I suppose, there's quite a few really small churches that are probably struggling just financially to keep their head above water. And then, a few that are maybe in a better place, but all of them would say, the key desire is to see effective kingdom growth. So that's a little bit about Invercargill and
Keith, I was interested just in your prayer notes about the Easter camp and the young people going there. And could you say a little bit more about the hunger amongst the young people that you've seen in your own church?
So the Baptist traditionally run some big Easter camps. There's one in Christchurch and Auckland. I think Wellington, not sure. But it's just too far. Christchurch is too far for us. So there's a smaller interdenominational camp run from Dunedin that we've been part of for a few years. So this year, 3 different churches from Invercargill went together. So we do a lot of work with C3 Church in terms of youth ministry. So a big team went up from here to that church, to that camp. It's about 300 at the camp. It's not the thousands in the North Island, but it's a really significant time, and we're just seeing this hunger among our young people. So we're running these 2 discipleship groups. One, as I say, before church, one after church. And starting to see people, take that step of commitment and baptism. So, Yeah, and actually most of the ones, of the 4 that are looking at baptism, 3 of them, if I'm right, my youth pastor's looking after this, but I'm pretty sure that 3 of them are from non-Christian homes. So these are kids with no Christian heritage whatsoever. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. Really.